Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Change Your Music, Change Your Life, Change Your World with classically trained but creatively unbound composer and singer Freyja Wild. I'm Sandie Sedgbeer, live event host for Humanities Team, a 501c3 non-profit organisation whose mission is to make conscious living prevalent worldwide by 2040. And I'm coming to you live from London, England. I also want to welcome Freyja's audience, those streaming live through the Humanities Team Facebook page, our Humanities Team YouTube channel, and Stream Plus members here in the green room with us. Thank you for being members, and some of you that are on camera. I also want to give a special shout out to the Sign Network with John and Summer Raymer at sign.network. Now, because this is a live program, we will have time for comments and questions. So post your questions in the chat within the first 30 to 40 minutes of the program, and you may get your question answered by Freyja. Freyja Wild is a classically trained vocalist, composer, ritual artist, and sound healer who weaves together ancient Celtic magic, lush harmonies, and primal rhythms with the wild beauty of the natural world to create music that is more than art. It's medicine for the soul and for the world. Freyja, so glad you're here. Where are you connecting from?
I am connecting with you from Louisville, Colorado today.
Well, it's good to have you on the show. You are a classically trained vocalist, but you're now deeply immersed in sound healing and ritual music. Tell us how that transition came about.
Well, classically trained, when I was right out of college, I was singing art music, I was singing classical music, I was singing opera, and to be honest, I've sung lots of different things. I've sung music theater, jazz, torch. For a while, I had a Renaissance madrigal ensemble, and I've even sung with a couple different rock bands, party bands, that kind of thing, and I've had a lot of fun. But my focus has always, ever since I was a kid, my focus has always been, what can I do? What can I do? Can I do to help the world? What can I bring? And I sing. And so, well, okay, that's the tool that I can use. And having sung everyone else's music for the last, for the majority of my adult life, it was 10, 15 years ago, I thought, I really need to start writing my own music. I really need to start bringing my own messages, my own offerings, my own gifts to the world. And so that's when all of this started. I began writing, and I began.
You actually answered my second question there, so thank you for that, because I wanted to know where it all began for you. You said that your mission is to make music that changes the world. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
I
indeed.
must say that having experienced your Verdant music program on Humanity Stream Plus, I'd say that you're pretty much on track with that.
Oh, yay!
So, what I want to know is what were your musical influences? Seems like it's a smorgasbord of everything.
It is a big smorgasbord of everything. 'Cause a lot of my influence comes from that madrigal ensemble I told you about, and
Mm.
we sang at Renaissance festivals, and so there's a lot of just that Renaissance ancient element in my music, and also Celtic music is very prominent at Renaissance festivals as well. So that's in there. You've also got a lot of my classical background. I've got like the music of foray, the chord structures, the lush harmonies, all that beauty is woven into the music. And then there's also a little drop of things like Led Zeppelin, Jethro Tull, and Kate Bush is one of my major influences. And so there's a lot of different things that get woven into the music, as well as there's some Middle Eastern influences because I'm very involved in the world of Middle Eastern music as well. So it's
So, do you just spend time with your band trying everything and seeing what works, what weaves together? Or do you have an understanding immediately of what will go with what?
well, I write all the music, and I pretty much before I even bring it to the band, I've got a pretty strong idea of how I want the song to go, but I bring it, and then they work the magic. They create, all the little nuances and all the beauty in there. And so, yeah, that's a good question, and it's a little different every time. It's a little different every time.
Sounds like it's a lot of fun. You embed messages into your compositions. What do you think the world has forgotten about sound? And what is it that you want us all to know?
We have become inundated by sound in our current world. I mean, just this morning, I was so glad that I knew the weed whackers were going to be done before we started here today, because this is like it's nonstop, the traffic noise and everything. And sound is actually a really important element for our well-being. We are vibrating creatures. Everything is in vibration, and sound is created through vibration, and that sound affects us. And so the music that we listen to, the sounds that we immerse ourselves in, they affect our well-being on every level, body, mind, and spirit. And I know for myself how healed I am, how rejuvenated is a better word for it, I feel when I go outside and I'm inundated with bird song. It's just like, oh, everything's okay in the world. And for me, the sound is important, but the intention behind the sound is crucial.
Yes.
So my music is woven with some very deep intention. And I know for myself also, the songs that run through my head at any given moment are very telling. And sometimes I feel like it's spirit cheering me on, saying, "Hey girl, you got this, you go, you go, you go." And then other times it's like, "Oh wow, listen to what just ran through my head. I had no idea that was going on in there." One of my best examples of that is I had had a major car accident when I first moved to Colorado. And I was living on site at the Colorado Renaissance Festival because I was working there at the time. And I was having to drive from the festival site to the chiropractor, which was an excruciating thing. And my whole life had just come apart. I mean, everything had just come apart. And I'm driving, and on the radio, actually, it was on the radio, make no mistake, this song that I knew from when I was a kid comes on. It says, "Get up, get back on your feet. You're the one they can't beat, and you know it. Yeah, come on, come on. Let's see what you've got. Just take your best shot and don't blow it." It's a song by a band from the 80s called Styx that I grew up listening to. And I heard that, and then that just started running through my head over and over and over through that whole summer as I was just trying to power my way through life. And so the music is so important. It's so important for our well-being. The sound, the intention, and just the way that it brings us, it can transport us to a whole different place.
I'm always fascinated how musicians take the seed of an idea and nurture it into a song. For
Mm.
example, your song Budding Dreams, which we have a clip of. We're going to play that now. What I'd like to ask you, when we've seen it, if you could give us some insight into its journey from seed to the finished composition.
Oh, wow, that is actually a really big question, because that song has its roots in a practice that I have. We've recently we lived on a farm, and we have this practice of planting seeds. And as we plant the seeds, we plant with them all of our hopes, dreams, desires, and intentions for our own lives, but also for the world. And so we plant the seeds, and then I go outside and I would sing to the garden and just nurture those seeds along and give them all the love that I could. So that, and a lot of times what we were planting was world peace, world peace, world peace. And so then the idea was that as those seeds grew, as the food grew, and then as we would share the food, those dreams would come to fruition. So that's the that's the basis for the idea of the song. The song itself showed up in kind of just over the course of time. I had the idea, and then I was actually trying to write a different song at the time, and this is the one that poured out. I'd set out to write something completely different, and this poured out. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of pretty. I like that. Yeah.
Well, let's play it now so everybody can enjoy it.
My sweetest dreams hang on the vine like grapes ripening in the sun. Tend the soil and give them time. Sweeter still they will become. When at last my cup is full and I can sip the nectar sweet, buds will soon upon the vine appear as dreams I've yet to meet. Chance to live and chance to dream, chance to take another chance. The circle moves from deep within. Enter boldly in the dance. When we raise the cup in cheer, and all can sip the nectar sweet, buds will soon upon the vine appear as dreams we've yet to
Such a beautifully medieval kind of voice. You know, I can understand why the Renaissance festivals, you know, you would have fitted in perfectly there. I could see you in a movie, you know, a Tudor movie, singing a song. It's just really, it's interesting how that was very much the style back then. And now here you are bringing it back to us.
Yeah.
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 Let's talk about the science of sound and healing for a little bit, because science shows that sound can reduce stress, anxiety, and even physical pain. How do you see your music, especially in Verdant music programs, supporting that kind of healing?
You know, music is such a powerful healing force. You know that when you ask about the science, we as vibrating beings, and we, so if, for example, if there are all the strings on the piano, and if you take the damper pedal and push down so that they're all open and willing to vibrate, if you were to pluck one of the strings on that piano, all of the rest of the strings would start vibrating sympathetically. Not necessarily, you know, as if you'd struck them as well, but they start vibrating and they start adding color and resonance and to the sound that has been created by the string that you vibrated. And we as vibrating beings do the same thing. When a vibration comes our way, it affects the way that we vibrate. And you may have noticed that, or you may have experienced that. You know, you walk into a room, you're in a fabulous mood, and everybody else can get lifted up by that. Or you walk into a room, you're in a crummy mood, and everybody else can sync to that as well. So that the strong vibration in the room can really affect the whole rest of the room.
Mm.
And so the kind of music that we listen to, the kind of music that we graze on, think about, and live our lives to really can affect the way that we vibrate. It can affect our joy. It can affect our well-being. It can affect our health. It can affect a lot of different things. And so, so that's why I write music with the intention that I want to lift up. I, for one, don't need any help feeling sad, feeling depressed. I can go there, very easily all by myself. I don't need any help doing that. And so I've got set lists on my computer that are just like, make me feel good. That's the name of the set list. And I've got all the stuff on there that when I feel like I need to get amped up, well, those are the ones. And it's like I walk out and I'm like, oh, so much better now. Part of that is these are songs I love, but it's also the messages that are in the songs, the intentions behind the music, and it is the vibration of the music. I mean, all the different colors of the sound, the different chord structures, and all of these things work within us to help. Yeah, did that answer your question?
When you're feeling unwell, do you sing to yourself?
Yeah.
Do you sing to your cells
Yeah.
to improve, enhance the health?
Yeah, I listen. I listen into my own body, into my own space, and I begin to just sound the sounds that my body needs to make. I don't. There are some thoughts of oh well, this needs red. Put red on it. No, let's discover what the body needs, what I need, and then let's make those sounds, and that will shift the vibration a lot. Like when I vibrate, I tone my chakras, and I might tone into my root chakra, and I might just start listening to it. And as I listen to it, I may or may not hear a sound. I do, but not everyone does. But I will hear a tone, and then ooh, and in listening to my own body, and then making that tone, it can help vibrations come back into synchrony with each other.
So the voice is, for all of us, really a chakra instrument.
It is, and it's the best instrument for sound healing, really, because everybody's got one.
Yeah.
And it's right here. I mean, it's you in your body, vibrating your own body. It's not coming from without. The sound is actually coming from within. And so, and it doesn't, the thing that's really beautiful about it, it doesn't matter what it sounds like. It's making a sound to heal the body, making a sound to heal the emotion. Sometimes you just need to express a sound, be it ah or ah, whatever it is, it needs to get expressed. And once it gets out there into the world, it's better. But then you can also begin to just help yourself vibrate at a higher, more at a healthier level for you, really, is the answer. Yeah.
Your work is kind of cross-cultural fusion. It blends ancient Celtic, Middle Eastern, primal drum traditions and chanting, which can shift the nervous system into altered states. In your live sessions, like Sacred Awakening, do you see similar deep shifts in neural or emotional states as people sing or drum together?
Oh, I absolutely do. I have had a lot of experiences working with groups, singing or just drumming, and the way that we all there's a notion called entrainment. When we all sing together, we begin to vibrate together, or when we all drum together, we begin to vibrate together. And then when you add an intention to that, it really strengthens the whole thing. Like at the Sacred Awakening Live, what I did was I taught the audience, the participants really, because we were all participating. I taught them a song that I wrote called Like a River. And the words are, all my love flows like a river out into the world to the deep blue sea, bringing hope to all it touches, rolling like a wave, coming back to me. And this is actually a practice that I have. I'm standing, like if I'm standing in line at the post office, I'm doing this. I'm singing that song in my head, and I am sending waves of love out to everyone standing in line. Or I'm walking through the aisles at Costco. I am sending those waves of love out to everyone that I meet. And it's because, like I said, I'm on a mission. I am on a mission here. We are gonna shift this vibration. And so, but at Sacred Awakening Live, I taught everyone that song. So, and it was just amazing because we had the whole room, I don't know, 150 people, however many were there. And we were all singing this, and we were all sending this vibration of love out to the world. And, you know, so you add the sound, the idea is sound plus intention. Those two things go together, and that really becomes potent. So you had the whole room doing this, and I even taught them there's hand jive that goes with the song. And so we did that together. It was a glorious moment, and you could just see people shifting and getting into it. It was gorgeous.
Well, we can see that for ourselves because we have a look of that. So let's have a look at it. We can all pretend that we're there.
The words are pretty simple. All my love flows like a river out into the world to the deep blue sea, bringing hope to all it touches, rolling like a wave coming back to me. And this is a little mantra. You know, I have these little songs. I have mind worms that get in my head, and they really do. They run through the day. So I'm going to teach this song. Can you put me in the right key? So it goes like this. Let's do Little Monkey Hear Monkey Sing for a minute. All my love flows like a river. Out into the world to the deep blue sea. Oh, you sound great. Bringing hope to all it touches. Rolling like a wave coming back to me. Let's do that one more time. All my love flows like a river. Out into the world to the deep blue sea. Bringing hope to all it touches. Rolling like a wave coming back to me.
What do people tell you after events like that? What do they say to you? What have they experienced?
They come and they say, "Wow, that really lifted me up. I feel so good. Your music made me feel so hopeful, so happy, so optimistic." And then they come up and tell me how they, in that particular event, how grateful they were to be invited to sing along and that kind of thing, because some people just don't do that. They don't sing. We feel like we have to be in a choir or in church or somewhere to have permission to sing, and it's like, no, let's all be singing all the time.
And it's so hard, isn't it? Because we're all so self-conscious about our voices.
Yeah. And for, here in the United States, there's a lot of the notion that music is a spectator event. People go watch music, experience music by listening, by watching, and maybe they dance. But you go to a lot of other countries, it is a participatory thing. on a much broader scale. And so I feel it's very important for us to keep finding those opportunities to invite people to participate in the music making and in the musical experience, because it's such a joyful thing. It's such a joyful thing.
There is so much research that's coming out now that's really exciting about, the voice, sound, healing, frequency. You must feel that you're doing this at just the right moment in time.
Well, I know I'm doing it at the right moment for me.
Mm.
All things happening in their perfection and in their perfect timing. I feel, I've been a student of this since forever ago. Oh gosh, I was going to say since I've been in my 20s. So 40 years I've been a student of this particular line of thought, and it's very timely now. It definitely is, and there were a lot of pioneers that paved the way. Jonathan Goldman and
So many of them
have fallen out of my head, unfortunately, in the moment. But yeah, a lot of people have paved the way for us,
Yes.
and so it's not such a novel idea anymore, and it's becoming a lot more mainstream. And so that's great, because the more people that we have doing this work and working to just raise the vibration, so to speak, in any way they can, the better off we all are.
Yeah, indeed. I want everyone to listen very carefully to this next song from your Verdant music program, which comes with a quietly powerful message and a deeply personal reflection. So take a breath, drop into the moment, and enjoy Dreams of Flight.
My soul in slumber, the sweetest of dreams of inherent beauty and gossamer wings, dancing up to the sky. In dreams of flight, a flourish of amber, of sable and red, the brilliance of sunlight sweeps over my head. I'm reaching out from deep on the inside. In dreams of flight, deep inner stirrings calling me home. Deep inner stirrings calling me home. Now that I remember, now that I remember,
Listening to Dreams of Flight and reading your note about growth not being a straight path, but a deep surrender, makes me wonder if composing feels like a form of personal alchemy or spiritual guidance for you.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great question. my songs are, by and large, the product of my journaling, my messages to self, my own internal process. And yeah, in a lot of ways, they chart the path of my own personal growth, my own personal journey. You know, that song in particular, there's a couple different metaphors going on there. One is just the notion that for my whole life, I have felt like I was in a state of becoming something, but I couldn't tell what. I didn't know what. And there's this idea, and then when I started to figure out what, and I thought, wow, how can I actually do that? How can I be that? And there's this idea that I'm creating this beautiful future for myself through my thoughts, my dreams, my visions, my desires. And I just hold that intention in my mind and I allow myself to become what I am meant to be. There's a big piece of just getting out of my own way and moving forward, much like a butterfly, you know, who emerges from the chrysalis. That caterpillar goes in there. Maybe he doesn't know where he's going. Maybe he does, but he goes in there and he surrenders to this beautiful transformation. And so but I also feel like there's a metaphor here for humanity. We have such tremendous potential for who we can be and what we can become as a species. You know, we talk about coming together, recognizing the oneness, waking up to the fact that we are all connected, and taking flight from that. And so there's this just letting go of the stories that we've had, letting go, surrendering, and seeking the beauty. And so that is what this song is for me mostly about. And yeah, all this music is a lot about my internal process. Messages I tell myself.
We used to read in liner notes, you know, on albums, etc. And I loved on your Verdant music program how you have these little notes to self. So it's like you're giving yourself a reminder. And the one that accompanied this, I thought was really interesting, because you're absolutely right. Growth is not a straight path. It is a deep surrender. And you had more to say about that. And that gives us something to walk away with. You know, we've heard you sing, the music stays with us, but now we have something to think about as well. Yeah. It's a lovely combination.
Yay. Thank you.
Yeah. We have one more video clip from your Verdant music program. And this, I have to say, is my favorite one. I know it's your favorite too. It is A River of Birds. And I would like us to play it now, and then you can share afterwards your inspiration for this chant. So let's listen to it first and then.
There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings. of women with wings. There's a river of birds in migration, a nation of women with wings.
The inspiration for that one.
Well, that actually is a chant that was written by a vocal ensemble of women, and the ensemble is called Libana. And I learned that chant around a women's bonfire, and I fell in love with it. And so when that video and some of the others were made during the COVID, when we were all in lockdown, and I'm just looking for ways to still be a musician in the world. And so I decided I loved that chant. There's so much I love about it. And so I decided to go ahead and make that little video for it. But the things I love about it, for one, I love, here in Colorado, we have, especially in the winter, lots of pond hopping geese all winter. At any given moment, you can look up and you see big V's of geese honking and flying overhead. And what I learned about geese when they fly is that the goose in front, then the two behind him fly just a little bit above. And then the next bird flies a little bit above and a little bit above, because the guy in front is creating a bit of an updraft, a bit of a lift. And the bird behind him experiences that lift and creates it for the rest of the birds. And so the birds, by flying in that formation, are actually helping lift each other up, which allows them to not get tired as fast and to be able to fly further. And then when the guy in front gets tired, he goes into the back and they all shift. And so they're taking turns lifting each other up. And I love that as a metaphor, because this world is so in need of bringing the masculine and the feminine energy into balance. It's been out of balance for such a long time. And so the idea of women rising together, lifting each other up, and bringing that gorgeous compassion, nurturing, all the qualities that we associate with the feminine, and bringing those qualities back to the world is so potent for me. And then the other piece I think is, as I'm rising, as I raise my vibration, as I continue my becoming and lift myself up, am I also helping to lift up the other people that I come into contact with? Am I helping to lift up the others around me? And so for me, that chant is just potent. I did not write the song, but I did arrange it. That is my arrangement with all the different vocal layers and all of that. And then I made the video with my iPhone.
It's anthemic, and it's also got the earworm.
Yes,
it's one that's going to stick with you, and you'll find yourself chanting it over and over.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
Just going to take a moment to remind everybody watching, if you've got any questions that you would like to ask Freyja, now's the time to put them in the chat room. So, how can casual listeners who aren't musicians tap in to healing vibrations on a daily basis? What would you recommend?
Make a playlist on your computer of songs that make you feel good. That's a really good start. Just find the music that lifts you up, that makes you feel good. There's a couple of artists I love, a couple folk artists, but I recognize that when I listen to them, I feel depressed. The music is really great, but there's something about it that just makes me feel depressed. So that is not on my playlist, and I almost never listen to it, even though I like it. So find the songs that make you feel good, find the music you love, find the music that makes you feel charged, create a playlist for it. That's thing number one. Then, in your daily meditations, play with sound, play with just, everybody can hum. It doesn't matter what key you're in or what, what note you're humming, or even if it's good, just and see how that vibrates in your body. See how that affects you. And then you can start, my knee, oh my knee, I'm having a little knee trouble today. And then maybe rubbing your knee and humming and discover what your knee might want or need, if there's a sound that might help it. And those little things. And another little thing that I like to do is I write myself power chants. If there's something I'm going through, I have one. Freyja, you are strong, you are so amazing, and I love you. Freyja, you are strong, you are so amazing, and I love you. And I, ooh, or sometimes it's I'm courageous. Usually it's I'm courageous. Ooh, so courageous, and I love. You can sing, create little silly songs to yourself that help you power through the day. Yeah, usually that is I'm courageous, because that's what I need more than anything else, is the courage.
That's so cool. You could actually, you could, everybody's talking about affirmations and, writing them down and pinning on the wall and saying them over and over. But you could do a seminar on teaching people how to sing these for themselves, how to create these little things. And that's much more fun.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we've done that a couple times, a friend of mine and I, and we called it your superpower goddess chant. If you're female, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, creating your superpower chant and then singing it to yourself. And then we would have the whole room sing, one person's chant to them. And so, yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe we'll do that some more.
Yeah. It's creating our own sound bath, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 And we don't need any instruments or anything.
You don't need any instruments.
No.
But if you want instruments, there's the singing bowls. I got probably 7 or 8 singing bowls here, and then there's tuning forks, and there's all these different things that you can begin to explore that just make a sound. If you go into one of the Tibet shops and you see a bunch of the little singing, and just the little metal ones, they're not expensive, and find one with a tone that seems pleasing to you, and then you can take it home. And sometimes what I do is I get my singing bowl going, and then I just start singing along with it, improvising, harmonizing with it, and whatever's going to feel good in my body that day. So yeah.
I find that when you are just, singing and you've got no particular tune or anything in mind, but you're just making it up as you go along, that suddenly things start coming into your mind about, it takes over in a sense, and the message that, it wants to give you emerges.
That's when some of the best juice really happens, is when I'm not trying, when I'm just playing around. When I'm monkeying around, that's when the real inspiration strikes. If I'm sitting there trying to muscle through, nothing. But when we're playing, and I think you just hit on it completely, because it's, if you can keep it in the realm of play,
yeah,
then it's so much more potent, because there are no rules when you're playing. It's all just fun. It's all experimental. And I think that opens up channels within us that we tend to shut down in our everyday adult life. And so if we keep it in the realm of I'm just playing around, then spontaneity really can take over in ways.
Yeah, because you have no expectations.
Right. No expectations. There's no bar to meet. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've seen 3 clips from Verdant Music Program. What else haven't we seen?
Oh, there's a few. For someone who is going to go explore that program, I would, let me look and see. There's one in there that is the very first one I made, and it's called In Your Eyes. And it's another mind worm. And the song is, in your eyes I see all the beautiful living. In your eyes I see all the beautiful in your eyes. Something so wonderful that you can't hide. Never, 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 never hide. In your eyes I see all the beautiful in your eyes. And I wrote that as a chant several years ago, when it was becoming, when all the the ugly underbelly was starting to show itself, and all the racism and all this stuff that a lot of us had no idea was really still so palpable here in the US, when all that started to really raise its head. And so I made a video and I collected eyes from all over the world, which was such an amazing experience because I got in touch with photographers from all over the world. And so the whole video is that chant, but then it breaks into layers and harmonies and this, but then it's just eyes from all, beautiful eyes from all over the world. And I'll tell you the thing, this, a friend of mine, actually a friend of a friend, texted me and said, "Oh my gosh, my 5-year-old has been walking around singing that for days." Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because what a powerful message. We go out into the world and we seek the beauty. You look for it. You seek the beauty in every pair of eyes that you meet, and you will find it there.
Yeah.
And if we keep that as a spiritual practice of just looking for that, then, you know, change your music, change your life, change the world. And her 5-year-old was walking around singing that. I'm like, yep, that is why I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So that would be one. That would be one I would recommend.
Yeah, Verdant music program is much more than an album. It has so many different layers, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your goal for it?
What is my, I'm sorry?
Goal,
My goal?
yeah, for that particular program.
That it can go out into the world and reach as many people as possible, plant some seeds of joy, some seeds of happiness, some seeds of hope, plant some ideas for different ways of looking at the world. I really do think, I mean, music can change the way you look at the moment.
Yes.
It can change the way you interpret the moment. It can change the way you interpret the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, that song alone, I'm seeking the beauty. Everywhere I go, I'm seeking the beauty rather than, you know, the other things that we project out into the world so often. And so my hope for this collection of songs is that it can reach as many people as possible and touch them in a way that that helps them feel more hopeful, more joyful, more open.
So if you could give one song of yours to every human on the planet at the same moment, what would it be, and what would you hope that they would feel?
Let's say one song from this collection would be the Like a River. The All My Love Flows Like a River, out into the world to the deep blue sea, bringing hope to all it touches, rolling like a wave coming back to me. And on my Verdant Music channel, I have a video of that song that I made. That song was born also during COVID. I had a group, an ensemble of women, and we were meeting on Zoom, and we were singing our prayers for the world. And which was tricky because on Zoom, you couldn't hear everybody. You could only hear the one person that was leading and yourself, but we sang our prayers for the world, and that song was born. And it felt so powerful that we decided to make a video. And so some of our, one of our singers was in California. One of them was down in Jamaica, people from, all over the place. And so everybody filmed their own video, and everybody, recorded their own voice. And then I brought it all together and created this. I think it's a very beautiful, artful video, and that is available on the Verdant Music. And that is one that I would give to the world if I could. Good question. Thank you for asking.
Change your music, change your life, change the world. That's a really powerful statement. Can you walk us through what each part of that means to you personally, musically, and collectively?
I think I've spoken to a lot of that. What I listen to and the soundtracks that are in my head definitely affect my well-being. And I've noticed it even lately, going through some tricky times here, just in my personal world and in the world at large. And I start getting just, my mind starts focusing on the difficulty. And my belief system tells me that, what you focus on is what will grow, because we are the creators of our own reality. And so the music can help me shift that soundtrack that's playing in my head. It can help me shift where my thoughts are. It can completely change my own vibration, which can change my day. And if I am responsible for my own vibration, if I am really truly responsible, and I feel that we are all each responsible for what we are bringing to the world on a daily basis. And if I am able to show up to my day in as joyful as I can, as flowing, as in the highest vibration that I can muster, then repeatedly day after day, that will change my life. And if I am vibrating in that way, and I am sending that out, actively at the post office and in Costco, and I am actively sending that out. And what's amazing is when I'm doing that, the way that people start smiling back at me. And the way that all the people in line at the post office just start creating community right there, because it's accompanied with a meditation that I do, that where I'm singing the song in my mind, but I'm actually actively sending my energy out as well, and I am connecting my energy with the whole room. So it's not just a song; it's an active meditation that I do along with it. I've seen the way that changes people. And I've seen the way, entire rooms full of people can really shift, the vibration can really shift when we all sing together. And I firmly believe that those vibrational waves they go out into the world and they touch everyone in their wake. That vibration, because vibration, it just keeps going like a wave, and everyone that it touches, it affects. So I do believe we can change the world.
Yeah.
With music, and I am committed. I'm committed to that.
What is getting you excited now? A new
Oh,
project?
I'm working
Something?
on an album. My first solo album of original material. I started recording it a couple years ago, but then life took me on a couple of detours. And this summer, I'm excited about getting back into the recording studio and finishing this album. It's got some of the things that you've heard, and some of the things that you've heard are not on this album. But I'm very excited. Yes, that's what I'm excited about. we're about halfway there, I would say, with the recording process.
Do you have a long-term plan, or are you just staying in the present, and when something comes to you, you work on that?
Both. Both. I have a long-term plan. I can see the end result. I can see that. And how I get there is by taking the next step that's right in front of me. Because I think it was Wayne Dyer who said, you can get all the way from New York to California. If it was dark the whole time, with your headlights on, you can only see what's right in front of you, but you do know where you're going. Yeah. Right. And so that's kind of how I am. Is I'm just taking the next step. I'm anticipating a couple steps ahead as best I can. And I've got the goal in mind. The vision is there. And I just keep saying, okay, Spirit, guide my feet. Guide my feet, guide my voice. Show me the next step. Show me what is next. And, that is a practice for sure. That's a practice, because sometimes we can get pretty frustrated in that. And then that's when I sit down and I get, okay, eye on the prize, eye on the prize. There's the vision. Okay, that's what we're excited about, because that excitement creates the magnetism that, will then draw all those next steps toward us, right? And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
We hear a lot about certain musicians who say, I didn't write that song. I woke up and there it was in my head. Have you ever had that experience?
I sometimes, but a lot of my songs, I work hard for them. poetry, like the budding dreams just fell in. Like I told you, I was trying to write something else, and that one just fell in. And another one just fell in, called "Bless This Land," just dropped right into my head. But others, it feels like I feel more like a sculptor with a hammer and a chisel. It's like I know that song is there, and I'm going to work on every angle and every facet. You know, there's one song I have called "Robin's Song," and I knew I had a lot of the idea, the germination for the song, but what the principal underlying metaphor was, I had not landed on. And so I was looking at all the different kinds of metaphors I could use with the robin, until I was sitting across the table from a friend of mine, and she said to me, you know, there's some old story, I don't even know where I heard it, but it's the idea is that all things that grow, all living things require bird song in order to grow. And I was like, oh, I love that. There's my metaphor. I was a year into that song before she gave me my central metaphor. And then the song was able to get written. Then, you know, I've got a whole lot of songs that are kind of still in that place of, I love this, I love the melody, I love the idea, but I still don't know where I'm going with this. And I have to kind of wait for, it's almost like I have to wait for that part of my life to show up, because, you know, these are all my lessons, these are all my growings, and apparently there's something there that I'm just not ready to unfold with yet. So no.
Yeah, I've heard too about the birds that in fact it is the bird song, and that's why birds, you know, you hear them so frequently, you know, in the spring when it's time for the plants, you know, to start growing and unfolding, and you hear them less in the winter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Freya,
Absolutely.
it's been an absolute joy to talk with you and to have a peek at some of your songs. They're just beautiful, just beautiful. Thank you so much.
And thank you. It's been lovely to meet you and to chat with you this morning.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Change Your Music, Change Your Life, Change Your World with Freyja Wild, whose beautiful Verdant music program is available on the Stream Plus platform. You can join Stream Plus now, and you will gain immediate access to Verdant music program, along with hundreds of other incredible spiritual teachers and programs. We're proud to say that Humanity's Stream Plus is the largest global streaming platform for consciousness raising masterclasses and transformational education. We are a non-profit, and we also give back with our one-for-one program. I also want to thank Steve Farrell, Dee Meyer, and the production team, Jim Gray, Garth Catterall, Andy Gutsky, Karen Weissert, Nanette Kennedy, and the rest of the Humanities team. And thank you to you as well for joining us today. Until the next time.